And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Remendini, who has a statement.
Good evening and welcome to our guests that are here this evening. Mr. Malio and members of the board and the community, you are probably aware that the Wickenburg Unified School District currently has a 10% maintenance and operations override in place, and we have since 1995. We are in the final years of the current override and have begun the process to review the need to continue the override and to explore the feasibility of once again asking our voters to approve this funding. We have worked for the past 6 months on this and have engaged with Paul Ulan of Primary Consultants, who is here to help us with this decision. Tonight's study session will include presentations from Aaron Johnson regarding the impacts of the override for the district and from Mr. Ulan about the feasibility of extending the override. Joining us on the phone is Jim Giel. I think Jim is there. Our attorney with Gus Rosenfeld, who's representing the district and the board. Jim, is that you?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Thank you so much. And like I said, Jim is representing the district and the governing board in this manner. So I will turn it over to Ms. Johnson, who is up first with a short presentation about the override.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent. Thank you for having me this evening. I've done some presentations in the past on the override, so some of this might be a repeat for you, but still very valuable information. So the state of Arizona allows districts to increase their budget up to 15% over the revenue control limit of the prior year ADM with voter approval. Wickenburg, as Dr. Mendini mentioned, is only asking for a 10% override, and that is what we currently have and what we've had in the past. In other states, an override might be known as a levy, but in Arizona, we do call it an override. So the reason that we have to ask for this is because the state funding formula does not provide enough funding to provide all that is needed for the district. And this isn't just a Wickenburg problem, this is statewide throughout Arizona. So many districts do go out for M&O overrides to help support their budget. Overrides are designed to use local contributions for expenses specific to districts and provide some local control. So how we use ours, I'm sorry, this is not working. Thank you. I need to go to slide 3. This doesn't project out into here. It just is for our live stream, so I'll try to speak up a little bit for you. Okay. I don't know why that's not working. A little technical difficulties, but I'm going to keep moving on. So if you can get me to slide 3, Jeremy, when you can. So also, as Dr. Remendini indicated, Wickenburg has continuously had an override in place since 1995. And I want to take a moment just to thank our voters for that. That's been a big support for our district. And without that, we wouldn't be able to offer some of the programs that we currently offer. So overrides, thank you, do support teachers. Let's go here. They teachers, aides, and instructional items. And as I indicated before, Wickenburg does have a 10% override in place right now. So in our current year, we had an override amount of $722,000. And you can see on the presentation here what that supported. So not only did that support our specials teachers, which is going to include PE, art, music, technology, all of those extra courses that our students partake in. It also funds kindergarten teachers for all-day kindergarten, because at this current time, our state only funds kindergarten teachers at half. So we have to take care of that other half. And so we do that through our override in order to offer an all-day kindergarten program for our students. We also use a portion of this fund to support some of our aides. So our paraprofessionals that are in the classroom side by side with our teachers, our media aides are a couple of examples of the aides that we do support through the override. I do expect next year that our override amount will increase a bit from this year. And like I said at the beginning, the override amount is not only due to voter approval in the 10%, but it's based upon our ADM from the prior year. So our ADM has gone up this year over last year, which then should increase the amount that we get next year, which is great because I'm hoping to be able to give a wage increase to our employees. I don't know if we can yet, but I'm hoping so. Also, we've added another kindergarten teacher So that person came in partway through the year at festival this year, but we do need to continue them next year. So we'll have a full year of another kindergarten teacher that we're going to need to support. So what does this mean in continuing the override for our voters? So this screen here gives you a little bit of information on property value. Limited property value is there at the top, and that is what the taxes are based upon. So we're going to talk about that and what that impact is in a minute. The assessor full cash value is what you'll see when you get that statement in the mail about your property value. And that's just another gauge of what your property is worth. Typically, it's right between 85 and 90% of the market value. What most people are familiar with is that last line there, which is the Zestimate. So people look at, what can I sell my house for? You know, people are always going on, you know, Zillow and how much can I sell my house for if I want to sell it for tomorrow? But that's not what your tax is based on. Your tax is based on that first line, which is the limited property value. So in the Wickenburg Unified School District, the average home value, I can get to it on my screen, is $225,380. So $225,000 is the average home value or limited property value. So that means that on average, the annual cost for this override to our taxpayers is $60. $60 for an entire year based upon that average. Pennies, you know, but it helps the district tremendously to fund the programs that we need. So if this override, if you choose to go out for an override and if the voters approve it, we will be able to continue offering these programs that we currently have in place, including to add that kindergarten teacher down at Festival, as well as it won't increase our increase taxes for any of the property owners. So they will not see an increase to what they're currently paying right now, but it will continue to help fund our schools for the programs that we need. So that's it in a nutshell. Like I said, a lot of this is repeat from previous presentations that I've given to you. Open for questions. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Paul, who will go a little more in depth with what his committee is doing for us.
Ron, do you have any questions? Ron, I think you're still muted.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes. Do you have any questions for Erin on her presentation? Can you hear me, Ron? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything right at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you know how to reach me.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Paul, you're
I
up.
would just I'll make one comment though, however, if you let me.
Of course.
No, I was just going to say that I pulled my tax record, and from 2020 to 2021, my override amount went down 20%.
That makes sense because there's a lot of growth in the area. So the more property, the more houses that are being built, then that tax base gets spread out. So people's taxes will go down as there are more.
Right. So anyway, I just, you know, just a comment. I don't know if it's what it's worth, but as far as it may be good for the PAC or something to advertise.
Absolutely.
True. All right. Now we're going to hear from Paul.
I was going to say good afternoon, but good evening, Dr. Rondini, the governing board. It is a pleasure to be here. For the record, my name is Paul Euland, Primary Consultants, and I was trying to remember, I think it's over 20 years that I've been coming up and helping the district with bond and override elections. And I, for the record, I will apologize. We finished up our survey data and got it Monday night. And so you have some initial that were sent to you late today. Some initial data. We'll get you a little bit more detail, but I'll just kind of go over that in a snapshot and answer any questions that you have. or that you might have, or just sort of the mood of the electorate. So part of this process we've gone through is, again, looking at the override, looking at our voters, and we eventually went out and surveyed over the telephone. We ended up getting just under 249. Would have liked to hit 300, unable to do that. We have a small sample, and it is getting a little bit more difficult over time to get people to answer the phone. We all have our phones, and if we don't recognize the number, sometimes we do not respond. But, first question we asked is, direction of the district. And, 3-1, district is heading the right direction rather than off on the wrong track. The big number and big issue, not in a negative way, just something to be aware of. Over half the people don't have an opinion. And part of that is, we have a lot of people that don't have kids or haven't had kids in the district. So that's an opportunity. That's not a negative. That's something to be aware of. We provided some initial information and asked their support of renewal of the override. We are at just over 60% yes, 13% no, 25% undecided. Very strong numbers, and we like that. We went through and listed all of the override uses. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And so when we go through and we asked full-day kindergarten, reducing class sizes, maintaining art, music, art, and PE, school safety, student programs, including counseling. Everything was, the lowest was reducing class size, full-day kindergarten at 71%, upwards of 83, 84%. Competitive salaries, maintaining strong academic programs, increasing student achievement, transportation, supporting career technical education programs. And so very, very, very positive uses for the override, that the community recognizes how important it is, how important those programs are. And then we re-asked the override question. Now knowing this information, we grew to 64%. So we grew, which is the most important thing out of all the information. Just the initial gut reaction is 6 out of 10, and when we provided more information, that number increased. Just a couple things for you to know about the community. We talked almost 58% of the people that we talked to have never had kids in the district. And then 51% were at their current resident for at least 6 plus years. And then 70% were over 50 years old. And what was interesting, although we have a party identification, so we were at 48% Republican, 23% Democrat, 30%, almost 30% everybody else. We asked, how do you identify yourself politically? A third of our respondents said they were, actually more than that, 38% conservative. Just to give you an idea, 18% liberal, 15% moderate. So, now Wickenburg Unified is a big area, but I think that is kind of representative of what we think that the district is. And we had a very good mix on male, female of that challenge. So we'll be able to get you, we had some open-ended questions about why the district is off on the wrong track and why they would support and oppose the override. We'll be able to get you those verbatim comments a little bit later, as well as crosstabs so you can see levels of support within the unique communities of the district. But, overall, very positive numbers. I think they are consistent with our prior election results. And obviously the campaign has to go out and sell it. And it was said, letting people know their property taxes probably went down because of the growth in the district, and letting people know that this is a continuation. So the district is not asking for more money, and it is a continuation of their tax rate. Those all help us as we move forward, and the campaign has to do their job with it. And with that, I can answer any questions that you might have at this point.
Paul, I just have a quick question about the, and I may have missed it. I was trying to follow on here, the report we just got 5 minutes ago. But approximately, do we know if the calls, how many calls went to our southern border?
You know, I don't have the breakout. I know we got a small sample out of Wickenburg Ranch, and I mean, part of it is there are only, I think, about 1,500. I have to look, 1,300, I think, households that are registered to vote. We actually got that data is from Yavapai County, so not even from the voter file.
Okay.
So, I mean, we did get, you know, I'll have the breakdown of everywhere.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anybody else have anything for Paul?
No, it's all good data.
What's that?
I like data. It's
Yes.
good data.
We'll get you more, trust me, we'll get you more data so that you have it.
Ron, can you think of anything you want to ask for Paul yet?
No, I don't have anything, like you, I was trying to go through this as he was talking, and, so I may have something later.
Okay. Thank you, Ron.
I'm available for you, absolutely.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions or comment?
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I do want to, if you don't mind, Mr. Malio, Raymond Whitelock Crawford is here in attendance this evening, and he's volunteered to serve on the Political Action Committee for the override. So he's, Raymond, do you want to stand up and wave? So
You were hidden behind.
that's why he's here.
You were hidden. I didn't even see you there. You were right perfectly
and
lined up. There
Susan
it is,
Raymond
perfect.
likes data too, so.
Well, thank you for serving on our committee. Appreciate that very much.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing else. All right. So what time do we have? Oh, we can move into our meeting. We'll shift gears here. All right, so we're going to exit our study session, and we are going to call the regular meeting to order. And it is now 5:50, and if you'll join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so we've got that. If we can get an adoption of the agenda, that'd be great.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda for May 17th, 2022 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, so we're going to switch right into our action items. Action item A is to consider or discuss, amend, if desired, the, what is it called? The pro statement.
No.
No.
Or I mean,
Resolution.
or the resolution, I'm so
Ordering and
sorry.
calling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in and for the Wickenburg Unified School District Number 9 of Maricopa County, Arizona on November 8th, 2022, providing for notice of the election and the conduct of the election as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. All right, item B. This is the one I was jumping to and trying to get done, I guess. All right, so action item B is the Wickenburg Unified School District Governing Board Pro Statement, override election for November 2022. Doctor, did you have something to say on that?
I did not. I wanted to just be sure that, I think there were some governing board members who had some questions about this to make sure that the discussion about the pro statement has some time. And again, legal counsel Jim Giel is on if we have any questions about the pro statement.
No, I'm good.
Ready?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Ron, you okay?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit. Yeah, I mean, I had a discussion earlier with Dr. Imedini on this about maybe some of the generic or generalist type statements of maybe getting something a little more specific. But I think, based upon, what she said, this is probably going to be about as good as we're going to get, other than, onesie twosies on it. So I don't have anything right now.
Okay. What's his name?
Jim Giel.
Jim. Hey, Jim, this is Joe Malio. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I just was wondering if there's anything, I appreciate all your time, and I didn't want you to be on this call for nothing, so I thought I'd ask. Is there anything that you would throw into what Ron's concerns were about the generic form of this? So I know there's a lot of legalese involved.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're breaking up a bit, or I'm probably breaking up on my end, but so you're asking about the form of the pro statement that's before the board, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I have reviewed that with the superintendent, and I think it's a very solid pro statement. Some districts, I think, go into a little more specific, but I think that's not necessarily helpful. I think the way it's worded now with those bullet points, and suggesting projects, but not necessarily nailing them down, and certainly not attributing dollar amounts. I think that's a good way to do it. I think the superintendent needs a very light touch on the negatives if it fails, what the voters may be faced with in terms of reductions in programs. I think that's the right way to do it. The only other thing I've seen some districts do, and I don't know if it's something you want to consider, but occasionally districts will say, hey, we're a A-rated district, or we have so many, A+ schools, or I don't call it a grading quite positive if you get that wrong, but some districts do this, a little more to sell the district. But to me, I don't see it that often, but I do see it occasionally. But I think, the one that is currently before the board is I think it hits it just right in terms of, not going over the top, but just sort of presenting the facts and then letting the voters decide.
Good, thank you, appreciate that.
So my only comment, really, when I had the opportunity to review it, which I do appreciate, was that you may know the statute was changed a few years ago. So unfortunately, we cannot list governing board members, individual governing board members. It'll just be signed by the board, by the governing board at Wickenburg Unified.
Okay, good.
But I might add, that you individual board members and district staff may, just as any other member of the public, submit a pro statement on their own behalf. And you may sign that statement as a board member or a staff of the district. So you have that same ability as anyone else. If you choose to do so, please do it on your own time, not using district resources.
Right, okay. All right, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Just one comment. And I think we talked about this the last time we did the override, is that people have a tendency to read things that are short. And I think we kind of went to that bullet thing the last time, and it just kind of hits what you're really trying to get across to people, because people don't want to read
Right. paragraphs and
paragraphs about things. So I really feel that this is the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else have anything that they want to ask or add? Or we can move right into a motion if you're ready.
I'll make the motion to approve the Wickenburg Unified School District Governing Board Pro Statement for the override election on November 8th, 2022 as submitted.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ron, are you still here, or am I cutting out too much?
Ron, muted.
Aye, sorry.
Okay, all right, we got them. We got everybody now. All right, thank you. The motion carries.
I missed the mute button and hit another button.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. It's all right. Okay, so appreciate that. And we'll move into our presentation that we have tonight. And that presentation is the Wickenburg High School bathroom update presented by our principal, Mr. Mark Gorman, and our Director of Informational Technology, Mr. Jeremy Corliss, and our Director of Maintenance and Operations, Mr. Jim Messel. Mr. Gorman.
Okay. Good evening, Board President Malio, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Amandini, and others in attendance tonight. Just here to update you on where we are after last fall, your approval to modify some of the bathrooms that we have around our campus. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just kind of run through some of where we are and what we are working toward at this point in time still. So just kind of as an update, if we flash back to last fall, there were some activities that caused us to modify some of the restroom use. And so if we go back to last fall, you may remember that we had reduced the number of bathrooms that we had open on campus and modified so that we were only using one bathroom in our G building at that time, obviously a men's and a women's. And then we had created some single-use bathrooms on our campus. We had two that were in the office, and then in each G and H hall, we created a single-use bathroom for students, which was a staff bathroom at that time. So each building then had a single-use for students to use, as well as a single-use for our staff then to use. There were cameras that were outside in the hallways of most of the bathrooms that we have around our campus within close proximity. Our security was monitoring not just hallways and the restroom use, but was also monitoring the cameras as well. So flashing forward to kind of where we are right now, following your approval to modify some of the bathrooms, or all of the bathrooms for that matter, across our campus, Jim and the maintenance crew have gone through and have made some modifications to the bathrooms. And I'm going to run through what some of those modifications are. We have had some that have been closed recently. We've, in the meantime, reopened all of our bathrooms across campus. So we do have bathrooms not just in our G building that are open, but we have bathrooms that are in our H building that are open. But those bathrooms are closing and opening off and on not due to the activities necessarily in there associated with the closures initially, but things like we had students that I think had clogged the toilet or a water sink and it would overflow. And so we'd have to shut them down for some maintenance type work. So nothing associated with the actual events of last fall. Some of the work that has been completed, you may recall approving strips that would go along the left and right sides of the stall doors, so as they shut, that gap that you often will see in a bathroom would then be covered. And Jim has went through and his crew has modified all of the bathrooms, G hall, H hall, in our construction engineering building, up at the fields and the field houses, the gymnasium. So across our entire campus now, we have the strips like you can see in the picture there. So when those doors shut, there is a gap seal that is increasing the privacy of those stalls. here's just another shot kind of what those look like. So you can see the black strips that cover, and so as they are shut, just another example of how they're increasing privacy in those stalls. He also has gone through in any of the urinals in the men's restrooms. We've added the partitions that you'll see there between those to again increase some of the privacy that maybe wasn't there before those were added to our restrooms. So all of the all of the urinals across all of the restrooms on our campus now have those in place. There is still some work to be completed. As you may recall, you've also approved the addition of cameras that are outside of the bathrooms, and there are some places where there are no cameras, and there are some where they are down a hallway, and these would put them in a location that was in a closer proximity to the bathroom so that they can be monitored. There was approval for the Halo sensors that would go out into the bathrooms that would pick up things like sounds and vape, different types of elements that might be in that bathroom. They would then connect to the camera system so that we'd be able to track if there's activity in the bathroom, maybe that was unwanted activity, to those that were coming in and out of the bathroom with the exterior cameras to then perhaps try to detour some of the activities that do go on in bathrooms, today. So. We also need to continue with the work on the shower doors that are in the locker rooms. There was the approval for the single use, as you look there in the lower right, the single use showers that you see there, to put doors on there, so that increases the privacy in those. And I know Jim's still working on getting those. I know Jeremy, I talked to him as recent as I believe last week regarding the additional cameras and the sensors. Those were on back order, or on order, and they were estimated to be here later in this month if they arrive on time, as planned. And that would then open up the door for the company that's installing those to schedule and come out this summer and hopefully get them installed so that they're ready to go by next fall semester.
Okay.
Of course, there are always activities that happen in bathrooms, and they've been happening since at least when I was there, and maybe before that, I'm not sure. But the students are using bathrooms all across our campus now. Again, they are all open. There are some altercations that have occurred. As far as altercations and fights, though, in bathrooms, we have had none. Those have occurred in other places. There is a vandalism that occurs occasionally. This morning, we were wiping some graffiti off of the tiles in one of the single-use bathrooms, where someone was making a design out of the tiles with their pen. So we were in there cleaning that up, and that's something that happens. And we are continuing to find students that are vaping. Primarily, vaping is I would say the number one activity that we see happening in a bathroom at this point in time, that is unwanted behavior. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys for any questions you have for me.
I just have.
Or for any of our others that are part of the group here today, too.
I just have one question. Is the Commons, are those bathrooms open?
Commons bathrooms are open currently at lunch.
Okay.
So we don't have that. That's the one set of bathrooms where there is not a camera outside to actually see the, going in. Of course, we don't look.
Right.
We're looking at activities outside of the bathroom. So that's the one place where we don't have a camera. So we keep those closed. So a student that is coming from that vicinity, which is our fine arts, our culinary arts, the art classroom, can either come up and use the bathroom that is in the office, or they'll go use the GH.
And did those bathrooms in the Commons get the strips and everything already?
They did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions for Mr. Gorman or Mr. Missel or Mr. Corliss?
One question, just a thought, I know because I've seen it in other public restrooms, the divider walls for the urinals. Have we seen any attempts of vandalism?
No, I checked them too, and there's been no vandalism, no graffiti on them. And the boys said they're great.
Okay.
Big, they're good.
Anybody else?
That last answer to Randy's question, it was all broken up. Could you give me a summary?
Yes.
Question was, with the partitions, I believe, between urinals in the men's bathroom, is there any kind of any kind of damage that's been occurring with respect to those? And at this point, there has been none.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thanks, Mr. Gorman.
Thank you very much.
And gentlemen, team members, appreciate it. All right, at this time, we have our recognitions or proclamations. Any board members have any recognitions at this point?
I have none.
All right, well, I'm going to ask our superintendent, Dr. Amandini, do you have anything?
Well, Mr. Malio and members of the board and the community, I have a long list of the wonderful things that have been going on in the district. So first of all, I want to welcome Ms. Corby Naylor, who is here tonight. Corby was named principal of Festival Foothills Elementary, and she's going to begin her transition soon. So hopefully you've had a chance to meet her. So welcome, Corby. It's nice to see you. I also want to welcome Ms. Casey Geip, who you all know, sitting over there by Lynn. She has been recommended for hire to replace Lynn Green upon Lynn's retirement this summer. Casey currently works for the school district in the bookstore at the high school, and she started her transition this week already, and she actually came back for a second day, so hopefully that's good news, right? So thank you, Casey, and welcome. Glad you're going to be joining us. I also want to congratulate and recognize the Wickenburg High School and Vulture Peak Middle School music concert that was held on Thursday. It was very entertaining and impressive. Special thanks to Mrs. Camille Boyle and Mr. Byron Boland for leading these groups in their performances. I was so happy to see kids on stage. I was in tears that night. They did such a great job. I want to extend a congratulations also to Mrs. Julie Case, principal of Festival Foothills Elementary School, for being named one of Maricopa County's exemplary principals. And last Wednesday, students and staff joined Mr. Steve Watson, Maricopa County Superintendent, in recognizing Mrs. Case in a surprise ceremony. So she didn't know she was getting it. The kids did. We pulled off a grand surprise, so it was very exciting for her. So hopefully the community got to watch that on Facebook Live, because that was the best way we could get it out there. I also want to congratulate the 22 Wickenburg High School students who received 36 local scholarships totaling $108,300. I believe it was last week when I was under the weather that the ceremony was, so I apologize for missing that. But I know we're looking forward to great things from these college-bound Wranglers. And then finally, as this is our last governing board meeting for the school year, I want to thank our entire WUSD team for an awesome 21-22 school year. I'm very proud of the multitude of ways our team has joined together to serve students, and I look forward to celebrating the end of the year with the return, woohoo, of our annual end of the year breakfast to be held next Friday. So, is that enough, or should I keep going?
Keep going.
Okay, that's enough.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Remendini. So now we will move into our number 4, our call to the public. And I have a call to the public. And so we have Mr. Vern is here. Vern, if you'll come up and speak into the microphone that goes out to the public, it doesn't go out to us. And they want to hear what you have to say too.
First of all, do I have 3 minutes?
3.
Could I please get yield an additional 3 if you don't mind? Because it's only me speaking, right? And I'm long-winded, you know what I mean? So, but it's pretty important to me that I give you guys some acknowledgement of, I think in this world today, we don't give enough credit where credit is due, okay? And first of all, after the Chinese virus incident and all that, right? Credit is due to all you nice people for putting together such a great district for these kids to return back to school. My child, I have a 44-year-old down to a 12-year-old. It's my last miracle. You in Hawaii, my kids graduated. In Hawaii, my kids did no drugs. I come from the big island of Hawaii. Why me? I come well of Hawaii. The pregnancy rate in that era when my kids was going to school for children was the highest in the nation. The meth dealing was the highest in the nation in the big island of Hawaii. I never took a drug in my life. I did 13 plus years for the United States Army. We just kind of sometimes we go through the day without recognizing what the dear Lord put in front of us. So my son is back in school. He loves it. The great teachers over there at Vulture Peak. See, I don't even know what school he goes to. My wife handles all that. You know what I'm saying? And the first time out, I didn't have a wife to handle my 3 boys. I handled them on my own. So it was rough luck for those guys. Didn't have no drug classes to take my kids to learn about that. I pulled everything out from the bottom of the sink, threw it on the table, said, batch it up. That's what you guys are putting in your system. They never touched a drug in their life. Because I'm straightforward and right to the point. And we're missing that part of it, but I understand why. But I went to a ball game one day. I've done a lot of rodeos, autism children for American Heart Association. Nothing ever went in my pocket after I came back out of the Army and I did those rodeos in Hawaii for those organizations. I put handicapped kids on 22 of my broken horses. I don't have that life anymore. My boys all grew up, moved out of the house. I was the oldest rookie back in rodeo. I went back into rodeo at 36 years old. Then I thought I'd never ever do anything like this again, but I got married after 23 years of divorce. If it wasn't for that lady, I could care less what goes on with you guys in this school district, okay? Be very frank with you. The Heineken beer tastes good and the Jack Daniels tastes better. And that's normally where I'm at after I'm busy chasing cattle. I just want to say that my heart was taken when I went to a ball game in a town called Morristown over there. Whoever that man is that coached that team over there, you all just need to give that man an award or something. Or I'll do it myself. I don't give a rip who does it. But I'll tell you guys something. Like I had 6 handicapped children on that team. They weren't going to win nobody that day. What they wanted was the hearts of our kids who played for Baltimore. I mean, they ran slow, they hit the ball, whatever it took. The guy couldn't even coach his own team because they didn't have an umpire, so he was umpiring and still trying to coach his own team. We need to fix some of these things. First of all, the man needs recognition. I don't even know the man's name, okay? So maybe you guys are the power to be, right? You guys are the governing body of this great town we live in and everything that's going on. Okay, so that's that part of it, okay? What was disgusting to me is then I come for the final game over here, right? At Baltimore Peak Road, or Ballfield over here. My boy is happy as heck. He's catching. He's having fun. He's hitting balls out of the park. He's just having fun. I'm not happy about you guys, coach, but who cares? The guy's out there trying to teach the kids, right? I'm a competitive son of a gun. You guys, listen good to me one time. Listen real good to me one time. I am a competitive fool. I hate losing. I can't stand losing. No, I believe there was a guy in office a couple years back. Win, win, win. Okay, so anyway, so I just was saying to you guys, I'm sitting there watching all the kids that I know on the team play, and there's a kid from Vulture Mine Peak, young lady, 12, 13 years old, same as my son. F this, F that, F-ing this, F that, F this to the mother. Sit down over there. I'm going to say something to you guys in a polite way. We may have fathers go out of that ball games in Hawaii, okay, but that's behind the restrooms, okay? But I'll tell you something right now. You never, ever hear a kid 22 years old in Hawaii ever swear in front of their elders. Them people are from way up north and in Alaska. It's Portland. And they've been here a short while. They're nothing but a headache to Vulture Mine Peak School. And something needs to be done about these nice people. It does. It's a disgrace. This little town, we're better than that. That's it. We're just better than that. We moved here because this little town looks like my little town in Commonwealth, Hawaii. That lady sitting to your left over there, I met her with a bloody mask on, and she had to explain to me, why the Chinese virus had to do with the DDoS. Yeah, she said COVID, whatever it is, okay. All depends what channel you watch, right? It's the Chinese virus, the COVID-19, right? So whatever channel you watch, right? Okay, but so you know what channel I watch, right? It's okay, but one thing about me, I come straight to the source. You might not know this. 7 years ago, my son was dropped off on Highway 60 at a bus stop from some bus driver over here, Hasiapo School, Wickenburg Unified District. I don't believe he works there anymore. Dropped my boy off, and my boy was 5. And when we got there, he was shivering beneath the tree crying because he didn't know he got literally dropped off on Highway 60. I'm not a football, everybody. Highway 60 is a bus stop out there. All the kids who come to his schools over here, there's one central bus stop over there, and that's where we go to get picked up and dropped off. When somebody tells me 4 o'clock to be there, I'm there at 3:45 to pick up my boy. The boy, he was dropped off, whatever what time it was, because we were coming up for Papik and the bus kept on going by, and I thought, oh, he just took him to Aguila because we weren't there, did the turnaround, and on the way back, he dropped him off. No, but what the guy did, it wasn't Papa Bear could give a rip, he was okay. But Mama Bear was mad. And Mama Bear, she don't know how to get mad. Long blonde-haired lady I married, but she was upset. So she called the bus people. No, all that Paul in Hawaiian is over. It's done, finished. I'm just telling you a story on how it used to be. Now this lady comes into the ballpark over here, and she's hitting home runs all over the place. I'm not a baseball guy, but I like hitting people, so I was a football guy. But I will tell you right now, ever since she squared my Okolio away, right out there by the doors out there that day, she just told me point blank and blunt, you will wear a mask until I get this solved. She solved it, my boy came back to school, and I believe in all of your guys' participation. One last thing. Those sprinklers, who's the sprinkler guy? Who is that guy? We're sitting there doing a football practice, doing a baseball game. I'm talking about the guys in the windup at the pitch, and the sprinklers come on. And I'm thinking to myself, I have a schedule. It says we're playing here today, right? Every game, we have to stop the game, change t-shirts off some of these kids because they're so get wet. Please don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's hilarious. It almost looks like we're back in Hawaii, you know what I mean? But we need to get on the map, right? And maybe trying to figure out if we can get the memo to the guy with the sprinkler that's in charge of the sprinklers, you know what I mean? And you ought to see the parents scramble on the side of that hill, man, to get the heck away from these sprinklers, okay? Listen, man, I'm a sarcastic, funny son of a gun. My son loves band, by the way. So that other guy you guys got rid of, God bless America, okay? Whoever you found, he's doing well. I can't stand flutes, but I hear it all night from my son. I flute every night. I'm a ukulele, guitar guy. My brother, his brother's from the 30 years older, right? You know what I said? Hey, brother, listen to this. He's playing the flute. They quickly dissolve him from off the phone real fast, you know. So, but I just want to say this to you guys. Please keep up the good work, okay? Do you guys have a couple open spots or something like that this year? That's what I'm hearing. Oh, no, I don't attend the room. I was thinking about squeezing my wife in there someplace, you know what I'm trying to say? Because I can say more from here than I can from down there. That's why, you know what I mean? Listen, guys, thanks so much. Okay, really, thank you. The town council guys, I appear over there every now and then, and their jaws are sore from laughing every time we're all done with them, you know. So, but the cousin, and whoever that guy is that's coaching up there, try to get him something. Try to, I don't know, give him a bonus or something. Give him whatever. I'll chip in for the bonus. With a case of Heineken beer. I'll chip in a bonus with a case of Heineken beer.
Thank you, Vern.
Hey, one other thing. You all know what month this is, right?
No.
Oh, you see what I mean? You guys didn't get that one. You know that this is the month of the Hawaiians, the Pacific Islanders, the Asians. You see, they didn't give us a month every month. They didn't give everybody individual months, like the Popolo guides and, you know, Columbus and all that, you know. So I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, next year, let me know. I'll bring my boys up here. We'll put a luau on for you guys, okay? You know what I'm trying to say? We get a little sassy. We'll have some fun, okay? Thanks, Barbara. I was good. I probably was swearing, but okay. All right.
Thank you, Vern.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Much aloha, mahalo to you guys.
Mahalo.
Thank you for your service, by the way, in the Army. Appreciate it.
That was easy.
Did he use his full 6 minutes?
Well, I went 12. I apologize.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So now we're moving into our consent, or is anybody else in the public? There's not anybody else here. Okay. All right, consent agenda. Anybody need anything pulled from the consent agenda before we take action tonight?
Yes, right now I'd like to pull consent agenda item O, P, Q, and R.
O, P, Q, and R. Anybody else need anything pulled? So at this time, we'll take action on everything other than O, P, Q, and R.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of O, P, Q, and R items for May 17th, 2022 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Randy, let's go to item O.
Okay, item O was an item I didn't think had enough specifics in it for travel. The first thing is we may want to correct this, that it's not an out-of-state travel. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It was a very last minute thing.
Yeah.
It did not get my full attention.
Right.
My apologies.
They may have moved Flagstaff out of state, I don't know. But that's one item there, just a correction there. And then we did get the revised today, this afternoon. I know it was a late item added. So just specifics on the costs and where the payments were coming from. And it was a difference in the costs from what they had in our report to what we have today. So do you need that read? Or are we just?
No, I think the cost is just, it was an accidental copy from the rifle team.
Yes, it was. Like I said, it was a last minute thing. We were frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. My error, my apologies.
Yeah, but this way we do have it itemized now
Absolutely.
and know where the money is coming from.
Yeah, the budget source was also incorrect, and I apologize as well for that, the errors on that item. So I'm glad that we pulled that You can see from the document that was shared with the governing board, the breakdown of the costs will come to about $1,544, and it is an optional trip for the athletes, so they will pay for the trip themselves. And so it will be originally paid from the booster account and then reimbursed or donations back to the booster account to cover those costs. Not the high school rifle team funding.
So, yeah, for that one, I'm good with corrections that are made to that. We all have copied of.
Okay.
So, Ron, do you have a question?
No, that's good.
Okay, I was going to make a motion to approve the travel request for the Wickenburg High School girls basketball team to attend camp in Flagstaff, Arizona, scheduled for June 18th and 19th, 2022, as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Randy, item P.
Okay, P, yeah, just, just needed a little more detail on the cost of that trip also, which, now we have a new statement that says the cost is an all-inclusive that does include the airfare, travel, airfare, hotels, conference, and meals in a package deal. So I'm good with that cost adjustment in that, in the statement there.
All right.
So I'll make if everybody else good with it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-state travel for travel request for Jeremy Corliss and Adam Bob to attend the Connect 2022 Users Conference for the use of the Synergy Student Information System for EduPoint, scheduled for November 3rd and 4th, 2022, as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries as well. Randy, item Q.
Let's just delete Q and R out of the agenda.
Sounds good.
Nothing there.
Then we're good with that? You don't need anything more formal than that, correct?
It's just, those are standard
Right.
items, they did not get pulled.
Right, no, I got it.
It's good
All
that
right.
you got Casey coming on this. I'm falling apart.
Stop it.
Now, all right, so we're moving into our second set of action items, item 6, which is a request for approval of financial reports presented by our Executive Director of Business Services, Mrs. Erin Johnson.
Good evening again. You have the financial reports in front of you. Much like previous months, we are trending very well. You know, a little below where to be expected, but we have picked up a little bit from previous months, which is pretty typical this time of year. Schools are scrambling to spend their budgets and get their money spent and get those POs in before our deadlines, which was actually in April. We still let some go through in May that are needed just because we do have to have all of our items received by June 30th. So we are trending well, like I said, in both capital and in M&O expenditures. Our budget balances are positive. We are in compliance, and there are no surprises to the best of my knowledge.
Very good. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mrs. Johnson? Then we can entertain a motion. How's that?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. And action item 6B is the request approval of the 2023-24 Wickenburg Unified School District calendar. Anybody have any discussion for that? See, we're coming back to school in July that month, or that year, I mean.
We've been coming back.
Yeah.
So this is a year
Yes.
Yes.
We always approve.
from, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's do that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wickenburg Unified School District calendar for fiscal year 2024, 23-24, as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, motion carries. So let's hit our last thing, informational items, future agendas, items for future agendas. Anybody have anything? How about, let's thank Lynn for another calendar, and I hope she shares all the little tricks of the trade with Ms. Skype over there. We like our pretty calendars. All right, so we will move into item 8, which is closing of this meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 6:32.
Did you see that?
Hey, Joe,
Yes, sir?
I just want to thank you for letting me stay home on this one.